Well, hello there. Well, it's just me, Starscream, back again to take a look at episode 4 of season 1. Now, we are cracking on through these episodes, and to be honest with you, it's quite a bit of fun. I forgot how much I like Beast Wars, and I'm actually enjoying watching the episodes again. It familiarises me with them, because it's been quite a few years since I initially went through them. But you never really forget this kind of stuff, do you? So, without further ado, we are going to get to know some more of the Predacons and the Maximals in this episode. As I said, we are moving on at a fast pace, and I intend to keep this up for at least season 1, and then we'll see where we go from there. So, let's get on to the episode, shall we? Well, we kick off this episode with Optimus Prime. He's off the base. Now, he wants to try and establish these survey posts. Rininox is still back on base, getting them set up. So he's gone to scout out to make sure that the place they intend to put them is going to be effective. What they essentially do is they monitor the Predacons so they can see if they leave the base or not. Then they're harmless in terms of practical in terms of fighting, but they will give them an idea of what the Predacons are up to so they can react quickly. But the weather starts to whip up, and Optimus Prime thinks this is a bad idea at the moment. And he tries to radio into base. But because of the weather conditions, it's very difficult for him to communicate, so he decides to go back. And as he's leaving, he does suddenly realise there's a huge amount of energon build-up at this particular site, so he thinks, really, in this kind of conditions, it's best we leave it for another day. And in all fairness, we're not going anywhere anyway, are we? Well, Rininox just puts the finishing touch to the survey posts now, so they're all ready to go. Now, it's at this point they realise the weather is turning bad, and they ask, has anybody heard from Optimus Prime? And they go, well, no, the weather's affecting it too much. But Dinobot is really frustrated at this point. He goes, no. He wants to destroy the Predacons. My initial thought was, when I saw this episode, it's not so much that he's after destroying the Predacons, although he is. He wants to take over command of the Maximals still. And he thinks if the Predacons are out of the way, the Maximals will probably be quite weak, and he could probably dominate them. But that's just my theory, because he gets so angry about it. He's obsessed with destroying the Predacons. And for heaven's sake, he used to be one. Anyway, it's at this point that Optimus Primal turns up. They've been basically bickering amongst themselves about what they should and shouldn't do. And Optimus Primal comes in and goes, no, we're not doing this. And Cheetor says, hey, Big Bot, I can do it. Don't worry about me. I'm the fastest. And he goes, no, Cheetor, you're not doing it. Okay, that's an order. So then Cheetor takes it a bit personal, like Optimus Prime doesn't trust him because he's one of the younger Transformers, but at the end of the day, it's not that he doesn't trust Cheetor. I don't think he necessarily does trust him, but he knows he's a bit of a loose cannon, and he's a little bit too quick to react, and he knows he would go and do it, and he is fastest out of the lot. But regardless of that, no. The weather conditions are not good. We can't guarantee success in this mission, so no, you're not doing it. And then Dinobot gets really angry. Cheetor strops off in a bit of a teenage sulk, and Dinobot goes to Optimus Primal. We should take this opportunity. And Optimus Primal goes, you're kind of obsessed with taking down the Predacons, aren't you? Well, you're going to have to wait, Dinobot. Oh, you frustrate me, you Maximals. And then he strops off too. And now we're going to phase 2 of this episode. Now, after Dinobot has just dropped off, as well as Cheetor, Dinobot goes to seek Cheetor out because he knows he can manipulate him, because he's young, impetuous, and he wants to prove himself to Optimus Prime. So he goes, Cheetor, you could do this. It's just 1 hour. And Cheetor goes, well, it's nice of you to say that, Dinobot, but you're the only one that actually happens to think that. Come on, you can do it for us. It will help us. Well, you're the only one who thinks so, but Big Bot said no. Come on now, I know you can do it. And Cheetor thinks about it, and he basically massages Cheetor's ego. And he manipulates Cheetor, and Cheetor goes and does it. He doesn't ask permission from Optimus Primal, he just vanishes, and Dinobot thinks, yes, yes, I shall have my revenge on the Predacons. Now it seems from the start, Cheetor's doing a good job of this actually. He's running around, he's doing them very quickly, he's getting them all in the proper positions. Then something goes wrong. He gets a lightning strike, it bounces out of his hands, the servo pod that is, hits into the ground where the energon is, then causes a chain reaction, then he tries to take it out, and then he basically earths it to himself. And it transports him to the Predacon ship. But not just yet, because a Pterosaur is doing surveillance at this point, looking out, and he thinks he sees a sign of a Maximal approaching. But then he puts it down to the weather going, slag! And then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, Cheetor's there. And he goes, well, essentially all he says is, whoa! Yeah, he thinks he's Tom Jones now. Tom Jones! And Pterosaur is none too pleased to see him. Welcome to the dark side, Maximal. Yes. So yeah, so instantly Predacons go on the offensive. And to be fair, I understand, because he's just appeared in their base. I don't think he's none too happy about it. So we have a little scrap now for the time being, but we'll skip forwards a little bit because you know what's going to happen, don't you? Now, it's at this point that Pterosaur has Cheetor at his mercy. And he takes the mick out of him saying, well, I thought you were quicker. And then Cheetor says, I'm going to get in shape. And he pushes Pterosaur onto it and he beams him off exactly the same way that he appeared on their base. Pterosaur is going to appear on the Maximal's base. And then if things can't get any better, we have Dumber and Dumber appear. We have Waspinator and Sciorponok. And hot on his tail, Sciorponok and Waspinator are not going to relinquish their attack on him. They are determined to get him. And I said they are stupid, yes, but they can still shoot projectile weapons. So Cheetor thinks he's found an escape route. So he's going to get out of there whatever happens. But there's a big but to this. And there's something more significant going on here, which threatens the Predacons and the Maximals. Not that these two morons would understand anyway. But we're going to find out in a very short moment. And Pterosaur appears on the Maximal base. And he's not entirely certain what just happened. And he sees Dinobot, his fellow long-term serving Predacon, who has now become a Maximo. Well, that's a weird thing they did with his head there, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, they have a little chat for a bit, and Dinobot and Pterosaur discuss the fact that they've got a teleportation device through just one of those freak accidents, which is because of the post that they set in the ground. It was an energon, it got a lightning strike, Cheetor grounded it. It's just one of those things that happens. And Dinobot and Pterosaur, and I told you Pterosaur is more like Starscream than Dinobot is, because he doesn't have any honour, just like Starscream. They decide to make a pact and work together. So yes, they say, maybe between the two of us we can eliminate all the Predacons and the Maximals. And Dinobot goes, yes, this is something I've been waiting for. We can become partners, and we will lead. Are you interested in this, Dinobot? One for all and all for one. Anyway, in the meantime, Cheetor is still trying to make his escape. Now, he is quick, and there's no doubt about that, but he is outnumbered, and he is a Predacon base, and he's not used to the surroundings, so they are going to keep at it. And he's using his Predator Night tracking device on his visor, and he thinks he's got him. So Cheetor's left with a few options, but he does manage to get out, but he finds out a startling discovery. So eventually, when Cheetor does manage to get away from Numbnuts and Dumbass, he looks up the energon deposits on the system and he realises, to the shock and horror, that the Maximal base and the Predacon base are attached by an energon string. Now, whatever ship blows up, it will blow the other ship on. It has a knock-on effect. So, if the Predacons or the Maximals try to blow each other's ship up, they're going to destroy themselves in the process. So he copies a disc and he warps it over to the Maximal base. And then Numbnuts to turn up again. And this is quite hilarious. He just runs by them like the rocket's chasing them, and he just does a jump over them and then leaves them there because they're stupid. Now, it's about this time all this is going on the Predacon base. On the Maximal base, or ship I should say, Dinobot is trying to get the information out of Pterosaur as regards how it actually works, because he's not entirely certain, but Pterosaur keeps saying to him, it's really easy, Dinobot. So once he's told him how it works, Dinobot goes, you know what, I don't need you anymore, so you can basically just sod off. Did you realise I am not a team player? Goodbye. See ya. And there you go. Typical Dinobot. Anyway, regardless, after this happened, Optimus Primal comes in and wants to know what the hell's going on here at the moment. And Dinobot does explain. Dinobot was never going to betray the Maximals. He doesn't want to become part of the Predacons again, and he doesn't want to work with them either. He wants to get rid of them. So he explains to Optimus Primal what's been going on, that there's a teleportation device between the two ships, but he says that we must destroy the Predacon ship, and I've developed a scheme. Because we have this teleportation device, I can set it for 30 seconds. Optimus Primal isn't keen on that, but he says no, we have to do this, because if we don't do this to them, they're going to do it to us. So I've constructed this, and I will give them time to get out of the base. Okay, Optimus. And Prime thinks about this for a moment. He goes, well, as long as they've got time to get out. And he says, yes, we'll give them 30 seconds. Anyway, while Optimus Primal and Dinobot are discussing this, the Maximals send a bomb over to blow up the Predacon base. Now, Cheetor knows what's going to happen. It's not going to just blow up the Predacon's base, it's going to blow up the Maximal's base. So they've got the disc now, and Primal says, play the disc now. It has Cheetor's smell on it. Play it now. We've got to find what's going on here. And Cheetor realises what's going to happen, and he knows it's going to not only knock out the Predacons, it's going to blow up the Maximals as well. Now, as you can see, Pterosaur, and at last we have an appearance of Megatron. Yes. And he says, right, Pterosaur thinks he can deactivate it, but Cheetor says, no, you can't because it's clamped down. And he goes, no, I can't do it. And Cheetor offers to help. Do you want to get slagged, Megatron? No. Pterosaur, let him try. So he manages to detach it, and just at the nick of time, as on all good programs, Pterosaur takes it. He's got about 3 or 4 seconds before it explodes, and he gets caught in the backlash. But it doesn't kill him, so no, he's not dead. But now, it's time for you, Pussybot. Yes. And Cheetor jumps on the transport drive that they've established, and he's gone. And Megatron just ends up blowing up his own bit of base. No, you stupid idiot. And Pterosaur just turns up going, slag me sideways. And on the way back, Cheetor manages to destroy all of the networking systems. So, yes, they're basically back to where they started. And they're pleased to see him. I did a good job, didn't I, Big Bot? And we're back to the end of it. Now, Optimus Primal gives Cheetor a bit of a look. Please don't do this again. Yes, you did save us. Yeah, you saved us. Good on you, kid. And yeah, and Cheetor's quite pleased with himself. And Optimus Prime was slightly annoyed. And Dinobot is, I've just had enough of you lot. Just slag off. But yeah, so all's well that ends well. The Predacons and the Maximals are back to where they started. And we're looking forward to the next episode. This was a good episode, actually, and I quite enjoyed it. There's a lot going on in this one, because that's why it's taken a little longer. I usually try to keep them to about 10 minutes, but yeah, there's a lot going on in this one. And there'll be a lot more to come too. Come on, smile, big bot. Well, I hope you've all enjoyed it. We're up to episode 4 now of season 1. Please subscribe and comment, and if you want me to continue doing this so we get all of season 1 out of the way, I very much like that. I'd like to know it's appreciated, and I'd like to know that you enjoy my narration and my perspective on these episodes. So I will leave it with you guys, and I wish you all the best. My kind regards, take care, and see you lot out there.